Why are you needing to diet? That's my theme for today, and I want to welcome you to our next blog on self-care and how to gain a healthier, happier version of you. I'm Sophia from Wellbeing. I'm a mind and wellbeing coach, author, martial art instructor and personal trainer. In this series, I'm focusing on weight loss tools and practices that you can do quickly and easily. If you require a little bit more help, there's my course on the website, and the first session is free once you join up. For more tips and tricks, however, to rewire your health, just click on the links below and subscribe by pressing the subscribe button. And don't forget to press the bell so that you know when next week's tips are uploaded, and be sure to watch for the fun interruption. So today I want to talk about why you have dieted, or why you may be trying to diet, or why do you feel the need to diet. I, for one, really dislike the word diet, except in a general sense of all food being discussed as an overall eating practice. For example, like your diet should contain all food groups, or what you prefer to include in your daily food intake, but not as a restrictive practice. When we think of diets, we tend to generally think restrictive, painful, deleting food. Maybe you associate it with adding in foods that you really dislike. Maybe you equate it to overall fairly painful practices. Now, the dictionary describes diet as the kinds of foods that a person or animal or community habitually eats. This seems fairly good to me. We can look at what the Japanese eat or what the Mediterraneans eat, and there are some really positive results in both of those practices that we could use as good models. But then we get further along in the dictionary, it reads a special course of food in which a person restricts themselves either to lose weight or for medical reasons. Now, I don't know about you, but as soon as the word restrict pops up, I want it more. It's like being told as a kid you can't touch that, and you automatically want to try it just to see what would happen. Or maybe as soon as you think about restricting that one thing, you suddenly crave it. Therefore today, I don't want you to think about diet in any other sense than in as a practice. But I do want you to think about why you feel the need to change your eating practices. Did something trigger you to start increasing your intake? Did you become upset and then try and self-soothe with food? If so, what exactly set you off? It seems to me that these will be better questions. Once we find that trigger, we can then address how to change it. Do we need to be away from certain people or circumstances? Maybe if you can't do that, you can then change how you react to the trigger. Perhaps if instead of turning to food, you go for a walk or read a book or call a friend. Now, we've talked about how to change triggers before, and please feel free to check out my other vlogs or blogs. Until we know what the trigger is, though, we can't change it. And it's then harder to make a new habit and alter our established response. However, just recognizing that there is a trigger and what that trigger is already growth, and that's going to lead you to change. The next thing I want you to do is think about why you want to diet. Is there something internal you're doing to yourself? This is quite a common thing. For example, we might look in the mirror and critique some part of ourselves. We feel imperfect, and therefore, in our mind, we need to fix it with a diet. The unfortunate bit about that is that this feeling is unhappy, and we appear that diet, or hoping that the diet will fix it. And so again, we're putting restrictions in. If I take this out, I will feel better. Now, overall, I'm kind of fairly doubtful that this is a successful strategy, as it isn't dealing with the underlying problem. Why do you feel less than? When we give ourselves a negative to focus on, instead of a positive, our brain only hears the negative. Let's try it for an example. I feel fat, I need to diet. The brain hears more, I feel fat, and that's not a great feeling. I need to cut out chocolate, chips or cheese. The brain hears chocolate, chips or cheese, And gently we begin to think about them, and possibly we can imagine tasting them, our mouth waters, and we keep focusing on those, and then we try to come up with some reasons why we should eat them.
No, God!
One more time, perhaps we'll start a diet tomorrow, or Monday, or New Year's Day.
No, God, please, no! 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 No!
And so it goes on. So today's strategy is a bit more about self-love and not self-loathing. Let's change the frame. By this, I mean instead of the criticism, I want you to think more about feeling energetic, alive, vital, and content. And this will change your emotions. Now, what makes you feel this way? I want you to give yourself a moment as our conscious mind may be trying to interrupt us here. Remember, you've created some pretty unhealthy habits and practices. You've probably developed a lot of negative self-talk about those habits, some rationales about them, and these are going to want to challenge you. But if you keep thinking about what will make you feel better, you may realize that you can still have that chocolate, but not every day. Maybe it's more fun to make it a treat once a week or once a month. After all, it's not a treat if we have it every single day. It's not special if we have it all the time. Maybe you now realize that those portions that you're having are a bit big, and that equal enjoyment can be had by a smaller serving, because we really get extra enjoyment from just increasing the quantity. Maybe you can find a different way to reward yourself, a massage, a new book, a new hobby. Whatever the reward, it can be distracting, fun, repeatable, and we can create new happier cravings that not only make us feel good, but then we can create new associations with those and new habits. We can take out the need to feel like we're denying ourselves, and it'll give you a different mental focus. On the one hand, something to look forward to, and on the other, it'll help you feel healthier without all the negative flagellation. It seems to me that this is a better way to get healthy. Self-love instead of restrict, deny and criticise. After all, isn't this what we're trying to teach our young children? Boundaries with love. Understand the why and choose a different behaviour. This is far healthier than a negative reaction. This may not come automatically, so the final suggestion I have before you react in any way is just to pause. Yep, take a moment. This is for you, and literally does take a moment. Pause. How do you feel right now? How do you want to feel? Now, this is responding and not reacting, but I want to talk about more on this next week. However, if you have deeper issues and there's trauma, then perhaps more one-on-one coaching might be required. And you can give me a call or an email, or we can do this via Skype or phone if that's your preference. So I've also included a link to my book Weight Hack, 7 Mind Hacks, in the description below, and it will go into more detail on how to rewire your thinking. So until next time, I wish you much love and a healthy week ahead.